Good evening. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt again with the American Orthodontic Society, and I want to talk to you some more this evening about missing bicuspid teeth. We've got several of them videos on, but this is the one that's the way you really need to do them. It's the very best way. If you keep up with the person, then you can almost do this and let it just, I call it kind of driftadontics. Over a period of time, the tooth just, the first molar comes in and takes up this space, and it'll almost be parallel. Then you can, if you did nothing else, it would work all right. But then you've got to keep the upper teeth from dropping down into the space when the molars are going to move forward into the gap where your bicuspid was. So let's get on with this case, and I'll try to do this as fast as we can here. Let's see. I'm going to have to get my little deal going here. And this will show you. This is a neat kid, real nice young man, and he's just missing both of his lower second bicuspids. And he's also missing his upper lateral teeth. Right here, one of them has a extra tooth in there, and we're going to have this dentist removed in, and then we'll come in and shape up his upper cuspids. So we're going to shape up the cuspid teeth that would come in this area right in here. We take a little off the top tip and a little off the sides, and then kind of thin down the top, and then make a notch underneath here so it'll fit together like that. So we're going to do two main things in taking care of this young man. And I, excuse me, I tried to get his dentist to do this hemisection where you have to take the deciduous second molar, just cut it half in two, and take the back half out and do a pulpotomy on the first half, the mesial part of it, and that holds the tooth up above it while this 6-year molar drifts forward. So we'll try to get this across. And it's the neatest thing to do when you're missing those teeth. Now you've got to see some stain here. He's probably got some extra fluoride in his enamel when it formed, but his laterals are just not there. There is a tooth there. I'll show the x-ray in a little bit, and where we work with it. And this was 12 of 95 when we were working on it. We started this. All right, this is after we sectioned. I didn't do this. Now I tried to get him to do it, and he wouldn't do it. He sent him to an oral surgeon who was an MD, an oral surgeon too, and the guy just didn't realize how. Now you'd have to remember this tooth was back like that, and you took it in two, and now you come in here and you pack zinc oxide and eugenol down into this nerve canal right here, and you leave it alone, and this tooth will drift forward here. This is a 6-year molar, the second molar's back here. It'll drift forward up against this tooth and actually become pretty parallel in this area. Now once it gets here, you take this out, and now this tooth will just continue to drift, and it'll come on up to this way. Just do this on its own. That's what the neat thing about it. But this old surgeon didn't know how to do the pulpotomy. You got a baby tooth here, something like this, and you got the roots on them. It's out kind of like that, and then you got to take that tooth. You got to cut it in two right through here, and now your pulp is here you need to go down in it and just ream it out and pack that pulp with zinc oxide Uridol, just real thick, heavy zinc oxide Uridol, and you take this portion out, and now your first molar will be here. It'll drift up into this hole. When it gets there, you take this out, and that's where we are right here. We're going to take this portion out right there. I'll show that on the x-ray in just a minute, and maybe you can. This is not a difficult thing to do. People run from these pulpotomies, and I've done way over 1,000 pulpotomies like this and never had one go bad. But this one went bad, but it still worked. I mean, the old surgeon, he'd never been taught anything like it. You had to pack this. He just kind of smeared a little zinc oxide and used it all here. That's not what you got to do. You have to pack it in there, take an amalgam plugger and shove it down in there. And that way I've never lost one, and you never use a rubber dam doing these things. Okay, let's get on here with this. Now, here is the case, 12/6 of 95, and he's 13 years old, you know, when we see him and when we start to do this. So here at this age, this is, he's 12, well, I'm sorry, he's 12 years old here in 9/12 of 94. Now this is a odd tooth right here, and there is no lateral on this side. So we have his dentist remove this tooth right here, and we're going to let this cuspid drift in here. We'll take this one over here. Then we'll come in and take the edge of the cuspid off, a little off of each side, and on the labial side we'll thin it down a little, and on the lingual side of the cuspid you'll have a cuspid coming in something like this, and you take the edge off here, then you come down in here and take it out so that your lower anterior tooth will come right up into this portion of the tooth and fit into that spot right there. So this was, I doubt if the guy knew. We would do these to shape the tooth up for the person. Now here we'll go in and we're going to take this tooth in two right here. We're going to take this out. We do a pulpotomy on this, and this tooth drifts in that direction. And here's your second molar and your third molar coming back here, and you save the wisdom tooth in nearly every one of these cases. You could take this down, do your pulpotomy, and I mean pack it down in here. And I've never had one go bad, but this one did go bad, but it still worked anyway. So anyway, this tooth will drift right over and touch that one. You saw the picture a while ago, and it'll, as it drifts forward, it hits here, and that kind of puts the pressure on it. It'll almost come in parallel over in that space. And that's the neat part about something like this. Now let's go ahead and see the next X-ray. We still haven't done that, haven't done anything. Really, this is age 9 and 3, and this is 1991, and maybe this was, well, I'm sorry. This is the first X-ray that we have on this young man. It's the first X-ray. So we plan this all out. We draw it like we went through all this and take this out. This is the first X-ray. Here is your, I don't know, we may have the X-rays mixed up here. We still haven't done this. We're going to bring this cuspid in, and he'll take this deciduous cuspid out right here and bring this and extract that too. Now this is 12 of 94. All right, here is 95. We have removed this half of the tooth, took it out. But you'll notice the pulpotomy is not properly done here. He didn't even pack it down in the nerve canal. And the pulpotomy is not done over here properly. It's kind of smeared on there. Well, these went bad, and this tooth had a drainage coming out in here, but it still worked. This tooth will drift over in here, and as it drifts, it tilts, and then the occlusion is back here, and that kind of moves these roots forward. We did not touch the guys after this point right here, and that tooth will drift. Now, we'll go to number 4, X-ray, and here is this tooth. It hasn't moved all the way up here, but it moved a good bit of the way. And this tooth right here goes bad. You see it's draining out through this area right here. But this oral surgeon either probably was excellent or some complicated thing, but didn't know how to do a pulpotomy on the deciduous tooth, right like that. And so you do know how to do it. We've done this on many cases, but I don't have one to show you right here. Now this cuspid, we took this tooth out right here. See, and this tooth is erupting in, and this one's coming in, and we'll do our reduction and shape them up like laterals right there. And then we've got this over here now, and this tooth kept this from dropping down into place. Let me back up here. You see, this piece held this tooth up while this moved forward. If this tooth had dropped in here, this would run into this side of the tooth here and couldn't drift forward. So your half of the tooth keeps this tooth in place while this sexual molar drifts forward to fill that gap. Now let's go back. He's 13 years and 3 months old now, and we're just sitting around waiting. We haven't done anything other than just had that oral surgeon took that out, and it worked all right. Now it's time to take this out, this other half of the tooth out, and clean it all out, and the abscess goes away. Now watch the tooth drift further. Now that's gone, cleaned out. Now this tooth right here never did come down, you see, and so the sexual molar drifts under it, and it's going to keep going, or then we're going to start his orthodontics. This guy's like nearly 14 years, he's 13 and a half years old, and start working on him. So we don't have to do that to get this to go forward, but we have put a band on it. Now we'll go to number 6, X-ray, and he's 14 and 1 month old, and we came in and hooked up this tooth, and we're bringing it up, and we're going to parallel the roots and pull this together. And this is your second molar coming in here, and I don't see any wisdom tooth except the ones up here on the upper part. Now this, we'll have another X-ray here, and he has no lower wisdom teeth that I can come up with. And so this is drifting in, and this is closing this space up right here, and you've got your first molar coming in against the back of this first molar, and then your second molar coming here, and this upper wisdom tooth, you probably will not be able to save it, but you leave it alone, and you could use it later on if you have to. Now, here is the model, and let me go through that right quick. So we bracketed this all up with those little single brackets, and these are the cuspid teeth that we brought in, and we'll shape those teeth up into laterals. And I hope we did. All right, I held this up right here, kept it open, and we kind of reduced these teeth to laterals, but I don't see much evidence of it here. Now this is the 6-year molars moved up here, and you take this out, then you just bring it right on up against that, and that'll let your second molar come in there. Now there's that point. Now here we have kind of shaped these cuspids up. You remember if you just glance at this, you do not recognize that this is a upper cuspid tooth, and we took it down so that it makes it reduce the width of it, so it makes this fit together just like this was a lateral tooth right there. And you do that after it gets in good. And now we're going to finish this case out. Now I don't show the finish part of it, but you can imagine here we've got the upper done correctly and the lower done correctly, if I could look at it. All right, these are cuspids. See the sides of them are trimmed off right here, and this is thinned a little bit. And that guy will go through life and probably nobody recognizes that these are not laterals, they are cuspids. And then down on the bottom, he doesn't have his, he won't have all the teeth down there. He won't have his wisdom teeth. So he's missing wisdom teeth and second bicuspids here. He has the first molar, second molar, and the wisdom tooth is gone in that spot. And we line everything else up, and that's about the finished case. And this is 1997, and this takes a while to do, but we didn't have to mess with this tooth coming in. We let it drift up there and virtually come out. And we've shown several other cases now where we actually just carried this up, and we would do this though to section this off, take this part out. This part keeps the upper tooth from coming down in here. It allows this tooth to drift into this space. And that's the point that I want to make for everybody. That is the best way that I know of dealing with missing second bicuspids. So here's the young man when we started off, and this is I'm going to stop the videos here. We thank you for watching. I hope you understand this little niche of how to deal with a second bicuspid missing. It is the best way that I know of. And join our group and subscribe. We'd like to have you in here. So I'm going to say goodbye and close out here. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to stop it here.